I would like, if I may, to talk about the biggest obstacles facing Black America today. And yes, I'm white. Not only that, I'm an older white male without a college degree. Let me tell you something about the Negro. Obstacle number 1. Making babies we can't afford. Currently, more than 80% of Black American adults are above the poverty line, and 20% below the line. A lot of people are surprised to learn more than 80% of black folks are not living in poverty. They think the poverty rate's a lot higher than it is. And 80% is pretty impressive. Honor the circumstances. All we ever hear about is the 20% because they're costing the most, making the most noise, and committing the vast majority of crime and violence. So, props to the 80%. Wish you weren't so darn invisible. 20% below the poverty line, that's not great. But it's not the real problem. The poverty rate for black children under the age of 18 is 31%. Poverty rate under the age of 6 is more than 40%. And that's the problem. Let's do a quick comparison. In 2017, the U.S. poverty rate for black adults was 20%. The U.S. poverty rate for white and Asian adults was 10%, give or take. The poverty rate for black children under the age of 18 was 31%. That's more than 50% higher than the adults. The poverty rate for white and Asian children, as well as Middle Eastern and Indian children under the age of 18 was 10%. That's right. The poverty rate for white and Asian children was the same as it was for the adults. And that's the way it should be. Well, in a perfect world, no child would be born into poverty. What the fuck? But this ain't a perfect world, so we take what we can get. At least if it's the same for adults as children, we're giving ourselves a fighting chance to get out of poverty. There is no better way to stay in poverty than to be in poverty and make a baby we can't afford.
So what's the solution, Mr. Boomer?
What if, and I'm just spitballing here, those black folks with money, the 80%, started making more little black children's with money, while at the same time, pardon my language, the broke-ass 20% need to slow down on making broke-ass babies. As they're not going to stay babies for long. They're going to get older and angrier, and eventually they're going to start coming after other people's shit. You think they're coming after the white man's shit? Not really. They're coming after the 80%. I'd like to tell a story. It takes place in magical Christmas land, where, until they reach the age of 30 years, the 20% of people below the poverty line wait on having a baby. Those little elves not only don't torpedo their future, but they also save the government some money. And then the government takes that money, which is earmarked and stays in the community, and does everything it can to help the 20% who are waiting get into the 80%. And suddenly that 80%'s gonna be 90%. Maybe more. Just a whole bunch of black folks with money. I like it in magical Christmas land. Unfortunately, back on planet real world, Black America and Hispanic America are the underclass right now, and everybody else is not. To leave this issue out of the equation, if we're trying to end poverty, it's to waste our fucking time. Take that, Santa.